Okay, and we are back. All right, the next one we're going to work on is InsertAt. By the way, this is the pre-pinned method from the last video. You want to make sure that you put in this dot length plus plus here. I left that out, but I did add it back in like a caption. All right, next, InsertAt. So what we're going to do here is we're going to insert at, and then we'll give it which index to insert at, and then what value to insert at. Okay? So let's go to the whiteboard. All right, here we've got a linked list. And as you see, I've got in some indexes 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so linked lists actually don't have index, but we do have a method from earlier, right? This get index, get node at index. And using this, where you see current index equals 0, etc., saying that to say, we've created a method which gives these indexes, and we are going to use that method to implement this method. All right, back to the whiteboard. So what I want to do is first get a little housekeeping out of the way, okay? So first things first, if the index is 0, when we add or insert at this index, we actually already have one here. It's called prepend. We actually did that in the last video, where basically if it's the head, it'll add a new head. And we also have a prepend. So let me go back to the code. Here's the prepend. And then here's the append, right? So basically, if it's the head or the tail, we already have methods for that, right? So what we're going to do is, in case of those scenarios, we'll use those methods. And then also, what we want to do is, if the index is less than 0, or if it's longer than our list, out of bounds, basically, we want to return false, or null, or whatever the case may be. So let's call this housekeeping. All right, let's think on this. So right here, we want to say, if index is less than 0, or index is greater than this dot length, return false. If index is less than 0, so it's out of bound on this side, or it's greater than the length, will be out of bounds. So we'll return false. Good. Okay. Next, let's talk about this prepend, right? Since we already have that, if index is 0, we'll use the prepend method that we already have, and we'll insert the val. Okay? And then lastly, if the index is equal to the length, this dot length, Then we'll append. Value, okay? Okay, good. So what we want to do is create a new node. And I'll take you to the whiteboard. So we're here. And you see I left a little space. But if we want to add a node at 0, 1, 2, we want to take the number 2 index, right? So we want to put a node right here, right? What we need to figure out is, 1, we need to aim for this number 2, right? So I'm going to call this the target. And then I'll call this before, the one before the target. Okay. So let's head back to the code. Now let's say const new node is equal to, and we do this every time, right? New node with a value of val. The value of val. Okay. And let target equal this dot get node at index So we did this earlier, right? So the target, we're just getting the node at the index that we told it, okay? And let's return the target, just so we see. All right. So the target at index 2 is going to have a value of 20. Let's make sure 5, 10, 20, and 25. Let's see, 5, 10, 20, 25. All right. So console.log InsertAt, and we'll say 2, a value of 15. Oop, insert is not defined. Let me do my list. Okay, cool. I actually was still showing you guys the board, so let me go back. What I did was here, I made a new node. And I said, let the target equal this dot get node at index. This index. And then I'm returning the target just so we can test it, okay? So then I console.log my list InsertAt index of 2, the value of 15. So I saved. And it's returning that value of 20, just like we have here, with that next being 25. Just like we have here, that target with a next of 25. Okay, cool. So let me go ahead and delete that and come back up here. Okay. So we've got the target. All right, so now let's make sure to get that before node. the before node, which has a value of 10, as you can see. So let's let before equal this dot get node at index of index minus 1. Simple. Okay. Cool. And then let's return before. MyList dot insert at 2, insert a 5 or what have you. Let's console.log it. All right, value of 10. Cool. So this is the target right here. Then the one before it is this one, the value of 10. Okay? And this is new node. Okay, good. Now let's jump back to code. Let's remove return before. And let's do, what will we do next? Okay, so what I want to throw in here is I want to change target. I want to change the name of that to after. So let's say let after equal target. So the reason that I'm doing this is because any other tutorial that you'll see, these will actually be before and after. So not target. But for me, it works when I tell myself, oh, okay, this is, the target that I'm aiming for, right? But in other tutorials, you'll see they'll be called before and after. And then your new node, you just want to place in the middle, okay? So we'll call it after. Okay, good. Okay, so next we'll just say, and you guys can probably imagine this already. So new node dot next is going to equal after, and then before dot next is going to equal new node. Okay? And then when we do that, we'll just say, because we're adding to it, this dot length plus plus, and then we'll return this linked list. So let's look back at our whiteboard. So what we did is we said that the new node dot next is going to equal after. Right? And then we said that before dot next is going to equal new node. Right? So it just makes sense. So let me remove this, remove that. Oops. All right, let me drop this new node in here. Oh man, they got me messed up. I didn't want it to be that big. But this is that new node that we dropped in there. Boom. Okay. Then we said before dot next equals that new node. And then we said that that new node dot next equals after. And let's do a value of 15 for that because it's only right. And next. Right? So that only makes sense. Okay, cool. So now let's jump back to the code and let's test it out. So we want to get in that 2, right? Oh, and we did. But let's give it a value of 15. All right. Move this console.log. MyList.insert at index 2, the value of 15, and then we'll console.log MyList. Let's see what we got. All right, so we've got 5, 10, then the next would be 15. Then after that, 20, and the last 25. Okay. And let's see here. You kind of got to take my word on it, don't you? But how can I show you guys this? What I'll do is I'll try a different one just to make sure that it works. But I need to basically figure out how I can show these to you. But let's do index of 1 and make it 15 instead. Okay. All right. So here you have the head of 5, and then it goes to 15. Right? So that's taking over our second one. All right. And let's try 0. Insert MyList.insert at 0, 15. All right, it broke for us. What happened? Next equals new node. If index is 0, this dot append the val. Let's say return on these. Yeah, there we go. All right. The head node here is 15. Mind you, I had to hit return on these because it continued the code when it should have just returned after it added the value. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see if we do it. 4, 15. All right, so that means that the tail is 15. Okay, so this one looks like it's working. So let me just go ahead and take it back to the whiteboard. So basically what I was doing was dropping a value here of 15, which was the head. It replaced this one for the head. And then I tried to drop it here, which basically replaced this one for the tail. And then I dropped this one in here, but we couldn't really see it. What I'll do is I'll do another video in Google Chrome just to show you that that's working. But that's all we have for now, and I will see you in the next video.